Alright guys, today I'm going to be talking about UFC 300. I'm going to be kind of ranting about it because there's a lot of issues with the card that could be fixed and made it a lot better, and it's not as good as a lot of people's expectations were for the card. So today I'm going to be going over a couple flaws with it and doing a little ranting because, the card compared to any other pay-per-view, it's a very good card, but for UFC 300, I feel like they could have done a little bit better. And so let's get started. WMMA co-main event. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, bro. A WMMA co-main event for one of the... How often do these cards happen? When did UFC 200 happen? What? 2016? And we're getting a WMMA co-main event. I get UFC 200 was WMMA main event, but that was an issue too, and so is this. Like, I wouldn't mind Gaethje and Holloway being a co-main over this, but I would just say add another title fight. Add another decent title fight. Put Dricus versus somebody on there. I know Hamzat can't fight due to Ramadan, but why not just have Dricus versus Adesanya be the main event and have Alexpereira versus Jamahalhill be the co-main event? They've had normal ass cards that have had two good men's title fights, like Adesanya versus Cannonier. That had a great men's title fight co-main event. The John Jones versus Stipe card, that was a normal any other card, and they had two men's title fights until the pullout of John Jones. But that fight was scheduled to have two big men's title fights. Alex Pereira could be a co-main event. His last fight was scheduled to be a co-main event with the belt on the line. You could definitely put him as a co-main event and have Dricus versus Adesanya as a main event. Why not? I mean, or just add Dricus versus somebody else as a co-main event. I mean, there's a lot of options here, but they're just putting fucking Zhang Weili versus Yan Zinan as a co-main event. No one wants to see that shit, bro. As a co-main event on UFC 300? No, I mean, isn't there... They were supposed to do a fight night in China. Have them headline that. Why not? Why put it on UFC 300? Everyone was pissed off when this got announced, as it being possibly like a feature fight or a fight before a feature fight, and now it's co-main event. Come on, you gotta be fucking kidding me. All I'm saying is they could have done better, man. They could have done better. Even Topuria, he didn't take a lot of damage. Offer Topuria Moscar on the card as a co-main event. That would be good. That would be better than this. They need another decent title fight as co-main event if they're going to really try and make this a good card. That's what I'm saying for the first point. Second point. More WMMA, bro. Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. Holly Holm's boring as fuck now. All she does is fucking clinch. Kayla Harrison is just going to fucking sit on her if she's able to make weight. And let's be real. Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Bro, I don't give a fuck. I don't even know who Marina Rodriguez is. You can call me a casual, but I don't watch WMMA. Most people don't know. Most people don't care. That's the thing. Most people don't really care about WMMA. There's a couple people, but for UFC 300, there shouldn't be any on the card. I know any sounds like a lot. Like there shouldn't, like maybe there should be one, this, that. No, there should be none. None on the card. These can both be replaced with Sanhagen, Fiziev, Dan Ho. This can be replaced with anything. But we have these two mid-ass fights on the card. Nobody's hyped for these fights. They don't have a place on the card. They can fucking... Jessica Andrade. There's a Brazil card next month. Why is she on this card? Like, do we really need this as an early prelim on the fucking card? Couldn't you replace it with a better fight? Like a flyweight fight, maybe. A top contender flyweight fight. Why is this shit on the card? Holly Holm is like, oh my god, when that shit got announced, I mean, I would prefer the Jessica Andrade fight over the Holly Holm fight, bro. Like, there was literally before the UFC 300 card, I remember people were making memes about how Holly Holm better not be on the card. And look who's on the card. Where she's like 45 years old, bro. No one gives a fuck. I don't care. This is going to be a shit break, bro. These two fights. Alright, on to the next point, because I'm going to fucking punch my computer screen thinking about how I'm going to have to watch this on the biggest card. Needs more star power. Alex Pereira versus Jamahalhill is an amazing fight. I really like the fight. But it's not a big star power fight that you're going to be like super hyped for in the build-up. I would say McGregor versus Chandler. That would be a great fight for the card, but we don't know what's going on with McGregor. Hamzat versus Izzy. That could even be a co-main. I wouldn't be mad with that as a co-main of the card. That would be a nice fight that could replace the WMA fight, add some star power. I would like that fight in the card. Adesanya versus Pereira 3. That was the main event that I wanted. That was the main event that I really wanted, but fuck shit up a little bit, bro. But that would have been an insane main event. I don't know why I didn't do it. If you're seeing pictures of Adesanya recently, he looks huge. He looks very big. He looks like he's been bulking. He looks like he's been putting on weight. So yeah, they definitely should have made that the main event. If that was the main event, I probably wouldn't have this fucking section in the rant. I wouldn't say there's needs more star power because it wouldn't. That's a good ass main event. Adesanya versus Pereira 3. That's the UFC 300 type of main event. I like alexpereira versus Jamahalhill. That's a good fight, and it's not the worst option. They definitely could have done worse options. They definitely could have. Leon versus Bilal would be worse. I would even prefer that over any Leon fight apart from Islam. I would prefer alexpereira versus Jamahalhill over any Leon fight apart from Islam. Yeah, but they could have made a bigger fight, or they could have had a big star power co-main event like Izzy versus Hamza. Maybe it's not too late, but yeah, they could have even made alexpereira versus Jamahalhill the co-main event and had Izzy versus Dricus or Connor versus Chandler as the main event. Or they could have just made Adesanya versus Pereira 3 the main event. Like, there could be a little bit more star power. Now, this isn't the biggest problem, because good fights are good fights at the end of the day. It does have a couple good fights, but I would prefer if there was a little bit more star power, like maybe a big co-main event or something. This isn't the last section, but this is dumb matchmaking. Yuri Prohaska versus Rakic. Yuri 100% should be on this card. You know, I'm happy that he's making a somewhat quick turnaround because Yuri usually takes long layoffs, and so he gets to be on this card, which makes sense. But against Rakic, his whole goal is to make the fight boring. I don't even think he wants to win. I think he just wants to make fights boring. Yuri, bro, I mean, maybe it will be entertaining, but why take the risk when you could put in Roundtree? I've been saying this. Yuri versus Roundtree is a fight to make for UFC 300. Now, rankings-wise, you could say, oh, Roundtree, what is he, number 9, number 8, or something. He's below 7, I think. But, come on now. He just beat Anthony Smith. That's who Magomed beat to get a title shot. That's who everybody has been beating to rank themselves as a top contender. And even if you think that doesn't matter, who cares? It's UFC 300. Just put on a big fight. Put on a good fight. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, this fight ain't the worst, but Rakic or Yuri could have a better dance partner. He could have a better opponent. But I don't hate this fight. I just think it could be a little bit better if you put in Roundtree or maybe even someone else. Cody Brundage versus Bo Nickel. Now, out of the 3 fights on this card, matchmaking wise, this is the one that I least care for. I think, or when I say least care for, I mean I think it's the most fine. Like, it makes the most sense. Cause let's be honest, Bo Nickel's what, 4-0? He doesn't need anyone crazy. He's only 4-0. He just started MMA. So I don't mind him having a bit of a guy that he's gonna destroy. But they could have done a little bit better. They could have found maybe someone a little bit better than Cody Brundage. But I'm not the most mad with this. It could be a little bit better, but I'm not the most mad. Now, Sterling versus Cater, I think they could have done better with this one too, because first of all, Sterling deserves a higher ranked opponent. I think they should have done Sterling versus Aljo and Cater versus Yair. Or what I think would have been the best option, but it's way too late for this. Cater versus Evloev should have happened on 297. Allen versus Yair should have happened on the fight night. And Sterling should have fought Aljo on 300. I mean, Sterling versus Aljo, I feel like is an obvious matchup to make. If you can't give Sterling Max Holloway. Because I feel like stylistically, Sterling might just hold down Cater the whole fight and it might not be super entertaining. If you put Sterling up against Aljo, I feel like they're going to be kind of even everywhere. Strike, everything, they're going to be kind of even. It makes a lot of sense, and the grappling exchanges between Sterling and Aljo be crazy. I think they could have done a little bit better with the matchmaking on these 3, but it ain't the worst. Like, I'm not as mad as this as I am about WMA. Or I think this is even a smaller issue than the last slide, which was the star power. But this isn't the biggest issue, but I would be a lot happier if it was Yuri versus Roundtree, Bo Nickel versus fucking, I don't know, anybody that's a little better, Sterling versus Aljo. I would be a little bit happier with those fights. It could use a couple more ranked fights, a couple more banger ranked fights. Fiziev versus Dan Hooker, that would be a great fight. You can't tell me otherwise. And it would be just a good prelim fight. Not the early prelims, it's definitely beyond that, but it would be a good, like, mid prelim fight. When I say mid, I'm not saying the fight would be mid. I'm saying like mid on the prelims, like not at the bottom, but not at the top. Don versus Sergey. That would be a good prelim headliner for the card. I mean, these are some. I don't think it's too late because I'm pretty sure Dana White said he's gonna add a couple more like mid prelim fights, like fights for the middle of the prelims. So that's where Cape and Kai could come in, or Fiziev and Dan Hooker could come in, or even Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner 2, Fiziev versus Jalen Turner. Any of those entertaining lightweights you could put on the prelims, and it would be great. I'd be very happy with it. And even Kape versus anybody. But let's be honest, Kape versus Kai Car-France makes the most sense. They were scheduled to fight. They got the rivalry. Kape should get a fight up the rank. I mean, he did miss weight, but still. Kape has been just fighting people down the rankings and getting his matchups canceled. So just put this matchup on. I would be happy with it. I think a lot of people would too. But Gallon versus Sergey, that would be a good prelim headliner, and it's not too late. They could call any of these guys and tell them, oh, you want a UFC 300 opportunity? I'm sure they would jump at it. So put any of these fights on the prelims, and I'd be happy with it. I think it would be good. But overall, let me know what you guys think. Let me know some criticisms that you have, and let me know if you think some of my criticisms are invalid. Like, subscribe, comment, all that.